Okay. Okay, let's get started tonight. I'm really loud to myself, so I hope I'm not too loud. I apologize if I am. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the Design Review Board meeting for this month. We are without our chairman tonight, so you're stuck with me. I'm Ben Lott, and I'm vice chair acting as chair tonight. We do have these public meetings. We encourage people from the public to come in and comment on our meetings. Whenever you approach the, whenever you approach the board, we're going to ask that you introduce yourself and state your name and address just for the record. And I'd like to remind everybody that if you're not speaking into a microphone, then it's not recorded, and the people who are watching remotely can't hear what you have to say. So please always stay near a microphone if you're addressing the board or if the board is speaking as well. That's right. And there is a pointer, so you can point at the big board without walking away, and we'll help you with that when the time comes. I'd like to ask the board to review the meeting minutes from, I think we have 4 different meetings that we need to vote on the meeting minutes. And if we have someone that's ready to make a motion, I'm ready for that. I think we should, yes. Yep. So the first one would be the special call work session on March 28th is the first one on the agenda.
Well, I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we approve the March 28th, 2024 meeting of the Design Review Board as presented.
I second it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Can I have a call for a vote? All in favor? Show of hands. Thank you. Okay. All opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries. Let's move on to the work session and regular session meeting on April the 2nd. Do I have a motion on that meeting?
Hey, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the minutes for the work session and regular meeting on April 2nd, 2024.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can I have a show of hands if you're approve?
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the work session and the regular session minutes for May the 2nd, 2024.
Okay, let's hold on that just 1 second, John. So I didn't call to see if there was any approved. Any opposed. I wasn't sure if everybody voted. Anybody approved? It was all approved. Okay, I apologize. Please continue, John, with your motion.
Again, I make a motion that we approve the special meeting and work session and regular meeting on May the 2nd of 2024.
Do I second? Thank you, Pat. Show of hands, all in favor? Okay, that was unanimous, and we don't need to call for another one. And then the last meeting, work session or regular session, May 7th.
Hey, I make a motion to approve the minutes for the work session and regular meeting May 7th, 2024.
And I second it.
Okay, thank you both. Show of hands to approve. Okay, thank you. That was unanimous as well. Okay, we will move on the agenda. We have no old business, so we'll move right into new business. Rebecca, would you please introduce application A?
Item A under new business, application number CERD24-001065. Applicant Michael McGhee is requesting approval to construct a pool house at 114 Marion Street Southeast, tax map parcel 121-06-10-008. The proposed pool house will have hardy board siding and a red standing seam metal roof that will match the roof on the existing primary residence. The proposed material choices were made to match those existing on the primary residence. The proposed windows will be white vinyl 6/6 double hung windows that do not include simulated divided lights, which are meant to match the style of those on the existing home. The proposed doors are white French doors in the colonial style and a 12 light pattern. The proposed ceiling height is 10 feet 4.5 inches, and the window head height is 8 feet. The height of the proposed pool house is 16.5 feet, while the height of the existing primary dwelling is 22 feet. The applicant is also requesting approval to paint the existing primary residence in Sherwin-Williams Oyster White. and the proposed new pool house in the same color. This property is located in the Old Aiken Overlay District and is zoned downtown business. The construction date is listed as circa 1905 in the Aiken Historic Resource Survey card. The Aiken County Assessor's website lists the construction date as 1908.
Thank you. Do we have an applicant here tonight that could come up? Mr. McGhee, would you give us your name and address, please?
Yes, Michael McGhee, 114 Marion Street Southeast.
All right. Could you tell us a little bit about your application in addition to what Rebecca just went over?
Sure. We are trying to construct a approximately 500 square foot pool house on the edge of the existing pool in the backyard of the property, and just want it to look exactly as close as possible as we can make it on the exterior to the existing structure,
Okay.
with the siding and the trim and the red roof, and the windows, and even the shutters on the windows.
So we like that. Well, this is in the Old Aiken Overlay District, which means it's not quite as stringent requirements as we would have in the Historic District. So there's a little flexibility there, but we applaud your efforts on this addition. I like the way you've got it designed, and I've got a couple of questions I'd like to ask you. Like I said, there's a little more flexibility for the Old Aiken Overlay, and so normally we might not be in favor of vinyl windows, but I think we're probably okay with that in this district. And some of the board might disagree with me, which is fine. Also, I noticed on your application that the cornice over detail was a little different, and that was on page 7, I think. That's page 12 of exhibit, if you got it up, the next one, yeah. Exhibit A, page 12. Thank you, Rebecca. It looks like you're planning on doing a 1-by-8 freeze board and a little bit of, not a freeze board, a fascia board without any freeze board. And on your house, I noticed that you had, at least on the front, a freeze board, 8 or 10 inch, I'm not sure, with the fascia with the crown mold, and then the roof line came down over the crown mold.
Yeah.
Would you be amenable to making the room addition, the pool house, more similar to the house in terms of maybe adding a bed mold or something to the freeze board up at the roof line, and maybe a smaller freeze board?
Yeah, that was, like I said, it didn't show up on the plans that way, but that was my intention, because that side of the house is what you'll see from the street.
Right.
So I want it to look exactly like the peak of the side of the existing house. I want it to mirror that. So yes, it definitely would.
All right. I don't have any other questions, but I'm gonna open up to other board members. Comments or questions, Mr. McGhee? Okay. It sounds like everybody's pretty happy with it. If you'll have a seat, we'll ask if there's any member of the public would like to speak about this application. Okay. Seeing none, I would entertain a motion. Yes.
Is there gonna be any change in the fences around it? That was just a question I had.
Okay.
Given, and I apologize for not asking.
That's all right.
But I know there was some fence somewhere, you had put a fence around it?
Yes, ma'am. So there's a fence on the rear of the property, and then there's a
Right.
fence at the end of the driveway, which encloses the pool. And no, there are not gonna be any changes to it.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Are we ready for a motion?
Mr. Chairman, we'll make a motion.
Okay. You turn your mic on. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
With regard to application CERD 24-001065 at 114 Marion Street, I move that we approve the application for the addition of a pool house in the rear yard, slightly visible from the street, with the modification, as we discussed with the applicant, of adding crown mold to the fascia board, as well as a freeze board beneath the soffit. so that the pool house will more replicate the house detail, the cornice of the house itself. And I believe that in terms of the compatibility of the addition in the neighborhood, that it is compatible, and it's a standard gable framed roof, and it has actually a relatively high ceiling height, so that it is more in scale with other buildings in the neighborhood. I believe it's a 10-foot ceiling and 8-foot high windows. So with that change, I move that we approve it.
All right, second.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion from the board? Okay. All right, well, then I'll call for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, seeing it to be unanimous, we don't have any opposed. The motion passes. Okay, Rebecca, would you move us to item B?
Item B under new business, application number CERD 24-001087. Applicant Cam Scott is requesting approval to construct a rear second-story porch, construct a security fence and gates, and install permeable grass pavers at 358, 362, 366, 368, 370, 374, and 380 Park Avenue Southeast. Tax map parcel 121-30-14-005 and 006. The existing second-floor roof is proposed to be extended over the new porch and supported with 6 permacast columns painted Sherwin-Williams extra white. The windows and door trim will also be painted this color. The rear doors are proposed to be painted Sherwin-Williams tricorn black and the existing stucco Sherwin-Williams softer tan. PVC guard railing painted Sherwin-Williams extra white will be installed between the columns. The roof is proposed to include 5 skylights. The existing staircase at the rear of the building is proposed to be removed and replaced by a new stair located within the porch envelope. The new stair will be secured with an iron gate. The roof extension will consist of a white TPO membrane at the same pitch as the existing roof. The applicant has stated that the roof membrane will not be visible from the ground. The applicant also proposes to construct an approximately 72-foot long new security fence and gates along the rear property lines. The proposed fencing will consist of a brick base with 8-foot tall decorative brick piers with 7-foot tall ironwork between the piers. 3 gates will be included within this fencing. The first is a single sliding vehicular gate. The second is a pedestrian gate. The final is a 6-foot-long double swinging vehicular gate. The applicant proposes to use a reddish-brown brick manufactured by the Cherokee Brick out of Macon, Georgia. A photograph example of the proposed brick color was submitted with the application. The applicant further proposes to install a permeable grass paver system in the rear parking area. The sidewalk and aprons at the proposed 3 gates will be the only non-permeable areas in the rear. These 2 parcels are located in the Old Aiken Overlay District and are zoned downtown business. The construction date for the building at tax map parcel 121-30-14-005 is 1967 according to the Aiken County Assessor's website. The Aiken Historic Resource Survey card for this building states that the building was constructed circa 1910 with the storefront rebuilt circa 2005. The construction date for the building at tax map parcel 121-30-14-006 is 1971 according to the Aiken County Assessor's website. The Aiken Historic Survey card for this building states that it was constructed in 1904 and the storefronts have since been rebuilt.
Okay. Thank you, Rebecca. Do we have an applicant here tonight? Please state your name and address for the record.
I'm Cam Scott. I live at 009 Murray Court here in Aiken. And
Thank you,
I'm-
Cam. Would you like to add some more to what Rebecca's told us?
Just one clarification. I had a misunderstanding. Ms. Martin, Karen Martin, she's the owner of the property. Instead of the brick being a red brick, it's now going to be stucco brick piers with brick roll-out caps on top. So
Okay.
it'll be more compatible with the stucco in the back of the building. And then the brick on top will be a painted brick on top to be compatible with the painted brick in the front of the building. So just want to clarify.
Okay.
That
What
was-
color stucco?
It's going to be a tan. You've got a tan. There's a tan.
The same color?
Yep.
Okay.
So
All right. Any other modifications or anything you want to tell us about the project?
we're just trying to do two things here. She wants to clean up the back of the property. As you can see, it's a little bit of a hodgepodge of things going on, exterior stairs, but by extending this porch, we'll bring that second floor out to that single-story addition. That addition in the back was just an add-on at some point. I don't know when. You may know, Rebecca, but it's concrete block with painted concrete block, and we just want to bring the addition out to the second floor, give a covered second porch up there, improve the back of the building, and also give her a secured stair to get to the second floor porch. She parks in the back a good bit and uses the second floor. That's her residence up top there. So she's trying to beautify it as well as secure it. That's a big thing. She's needing to secure the back of this property because it's sort of been vandalized some. She's been broken into cars, and so it's a twofold here. Improve the aesthetics as well as improve the security of the situation. So she's already done a lot to get the miscellaneous trees that are between her and the adjacent property. She's already cleaned up a good bit of that. She's gotten some of the utilities moved already. So she's a lawyer by trade, knows how to do all this things. She gets it done. So, we're working on this, but she even went down while we were between work sessions. She measured Connor and Connor's fence, and Barbara, you'll be happy to know that fence is 8 foot tall to the Okay, so
Okay.
our fence, we were proposing the piers to be 8 foot tall. The actual fence is going to be the iron fence would be 7'4". So it's actually a little bit shorter than Connor and Connor, Barbara. So just want you to know that.
Thank you for clearing that up. So just for the record, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
So thank you for that overview, Rebecca. So on this design here, we see that there's going to be a new privacy fence on the right-hand side of the screen coming all the way out to the wall. That's going to be a wood fence, correct? Coming from the building, the barber shop to the road, a wood privacy fence?
Oh, you talking about between
The right-hand side.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
we haven't really discussed exactly what that fence is. I mean, first of all, it was full of trees and you couldn't put anything in it. She's gotten that all cleaned up. So
Ms. Martin, will you please come forward? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Would you state your name and all for the record? And thank you for walking up.
Karen Martin. I live at 370 Park Avenue Southeast.
Okay, please continue.
And the old Aiken, New Yorker building is next door to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Which has been abandoned and has been a terrible eyesore and also an attractive nuisance for homeless,
Right.
drug dealers and everything. So I have managed since living there to get it cleaned up. I would have approached the owner of the building. I would like to buy it and restore it. They have rejected my offers. But for my own security, I have got to have some kind of a fence
Right.
between me and that building. So because I hope that someday I'll get to buy that building and do the same thing on the back of it, I'm proposing to just put a wooden privacy fence there temporarily, make it as attractive as I can, plant as many vines, make it as attractive as I can.
Right.
and hope that someday that family will consider selling that building and letting me make it consistent.
Make your court card bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, and make the front, it is actually in such bad shape. Aiken knows this. The ceiling is collapsed. It's actually a danger.
Yeah.
So I would save as much, if it can be saved, I'm the one who would save.
Right. So the wood privacy fence on the right-hand side of the picture, you're thinking 6, 8 foot tall?
The same height as the rest
So
of the
8.
fence.
Okay, okay.
Just
And then,
paint it probably black or whatever makes it not show, and
we like the Sherwin-Williams colors, and a very similar color to a black might be the Charleston green color. You might want to consider
Right.
that. But it's up to you to tell us what color you want to do. So if, and then on the left-hand side, there's a residence that comes out pretty much all the way to the road. I think it's that oyster, the
The
fish,
oyster bar.
right, oyster bar. So that would be a wall, and you're going to landscape down that wall.
Yes.
And then of course, beautify the part out all the way to the road to the edge of your property line, right? So two drive-through gates are proposed, right? And one walk-through gate,
The main gate, again, is in the center. That's gonna be a sliding gate.
okay,
That's an electric gate.
okay,
It'll slide back and forth. It will not go into the C-lane street.
right,
The gate on the right is just for the few times that somebody might need to get in there to get to.
some kind of access gate for,
Yeah,
Yes.
it will stay
Right.
closed, it will be locked.
gotcha, okay,
But if it was necessary to get a piece of equipment in,
right, yep,
But it'll probably be locked and stationary, I would say,
okay.
99% of the time. So.
Okay. It's certainly going to be a big improvement to what's there. And I want to state for the record, you're not changing the Park Avenue side of the building. There's no changes planned to the windows, or the doors, the colors, or anything there. You're doing internal remodeling that you've already started, and then the additions the changes we're looking at tonight.
Right.
I actually applied and got approval for putting my benches and my pots out, my plantings out in the front,
Okay,
my colors. I've repainted it and I put new awnings. And I mean, I've already refreshed the front of the
Right.
building with your approval.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Those were administrative. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Ms. Martin, just to, for the record, just to emphasize it a little bit more, you're planning this, or you're making this design and the security fence in the back, not for the probability of vandalism or break-in, but because of prior
Yes.
break-ins and
Yes.
vandalism. So,
And
We
this is-
appreciate
This
that.
is Karen's permanent residence.
yes, absolutely, and I think that's, I don't care who you are, you'd want to have a little safety there if you're
Well,
going to be there all the time.
I also think that I like the fact that Aiken has preserved the mixed use of the buildings downtown, on Lawrence, and here. I think makes a neighborhood. And so that's why I'm preserving the mixed use. I bought them that because they could be apartments above and retail use below. It's what they were a long time ago. I think
Right.
it's great for the city.
Yeah. Well, I don't want it to go unnoticed. I appreciate what you're doing, even considering what you have as a next-door neighbor.
I will
Right.
continue to try to work on that because it's kind of a shame.
Yep.
It is, because that whole block is a very profound area, and
It's important.
every one of us that grew up in Aiken remembers how that block used to be when we were younger, don't we, Cam?
Wasn't that Charlie's Fish Market?
Yes,
That's
yeah.
right. Yep,
All right, for those.
That's
those of
right.
you old enough, you know Charlie's Fish Market.
Okay.
Yeah.
let's see if there's any other board members that have a question for you, Ms. Martin or Cam.
My only comment, to reiterate, is it's beautiful what you've detailed as to improve. My only concern was the height, just because in harmony with the neighborhood, whatever it was, let's keep it. So thank you for your conscientiousness. The only issue that I thought of is trash cans that you're putting it on the lot line.
I don't do that. It's the church and Harry Pettis. I keep mine
In the back, I
behind the fence. Now,
But-
I would, I try and get the others to do that.
no, I applaud you, because I could even see in the design you had your places for it.
Yes.
Here's the dilemma. That's a little C lane that's narrow. Putting 6 trash cans, you're gonna be putting them in the road, so it's gonna be an interesting thing, and I like neighbors to be happy, so I'm just,
Well, I would also like to have C lane be
One way,
way.
yeah.
And that is another, it would be safer and it would be much better if we could do that. At this stage, Harry Pettis objects to that very strongly. The church would like that. So over time, perhaps we can work on that.
yeah. I think that would solve some of the issues that I saw today as I was driving.
Yep. Okay,
But
but we're
thank
not
you
gonna
for your-
solve that tonight,
No,
for
we're
sure.
not.
That's
No,
right.
we're not, so
Any
thank
other
you.
questions for?
Mr. Chairman, I got a comment.
Yeah.
Ma'am, when I went through your documentation, I didn't find any deficiencies, even to the point of where the argument of masonry, right? Whether it was brick, this color, that color. And I said, for Christ's sake, just if you had to fight the argument, just build it with brick and just put stucco over the brick. That's the same thing as concrete. Don't do that. That's expensive. Don't do that. Don't do that. But I think it being mixed use, it looked good to me. I didn't doubt the 8 feet. And the wrought iron detail was actually nice. So once again, in my opinion, it was well thought out. Cobblestone there, and I was like, well, she's on to something, man. But I had no concern, so that's why I didn't voice my opinion even in the work session.
That's our excellent architect.
He's doing a good job.
A good owner.
Well, good team. Keep fighting that
Mutual
good fight.
Admiration Society. Any other questions for the applicant at this time? Yep, McDonald,
Just a question. Do you
turn
have
your
to-
mic on, please.
Thank
Aren't you glad you're
Thank you.
sitting next to me?
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
right.
Do you, how do you get the grass to, you grew up on a farm. How do you get the grass,
Through the
started?
geophotonic, yeah,
It's grass, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Sod?
it's
And it's sitting on,
This is a product that Karen used in Tennessee,
yeah,
and she's swearing by it and says it works great. It's you can park up. I mean,
You
I grew up on a farm, and I know you drive over that road, and it turns into hard clay dirt. But she said she had this up in Tennessee, and you can drive on it, and it takes the impact, but it still lets it grow.
how do you get it started?
You have to dig out and prepare, with good drainage, and then you put it down and put dirt. It looks like,
Behind
Yeah.
It looks like that, and it locks together, but you've already put it so it drains extremely well, like with very fine gravel, and then with sand, and then with dirt, and you put it down, put more dirt, and put sod. Has to be irrigated.
That's what I was gonna ask.
So you sod it, that's what you
And
do.
you could not use it, this wouldn't work for anybody but me parking there. This would not be good for a parking lot, okay? But with just me, and I will never have 6 cars.
It has some irrigation.
Yes,
Okay, just wondered.
it does work. It
Yeah.
does work. I've had it at home.
Okay. Yep. All right, other questions for the applicant? All right.
Oh, look
Thank
nice.
you for your comments. I'll ask you to sit down for a moment and see if there's anyone from the community who would like to, please come forward to make a comment about this application. Linda, please give us your name and address.
Linda Johnson, 515 Parkside Drive. Good evening, everyone. I wasn't really going to get up and talk, but I want to first of all thank this applicant for buying the building and taking such good care of it. John pointed out, trying to get that downtown area renovated and upgraded has been so important, and I sure hope you can buy that building adjacent sometime. This project is doing 2 things that to me are above and beyond, and I think we need to recognize that. First of all, she could have been asking for a solid wood fence in the back there. And instead, it's a brick fence, wrought iron, that's very attractive, and that wrought iron gives more of an open feel and everything, which I think is really good for downtown, not having a really solid fence there. And then that permeable surface. We talk a lot about problems that we're having with paving more and more. And, you know, then we have to have runoff ponds because we have so much runoff. And I'm sure it cost a lot more to do this permeable surface and deal with it than to have just done pavement of some sort. So I think we need to really recognize that she's willing to put in the money to do something that's more than she really had to do.
Yeah.
So I support the project. I like what they've done. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other comments from the audience? Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a motion from the board. Don't make me call on you.
I'll do it. First of all, I want to say there's a difference between ownership and stewardship. I appreciate the stewardship that goes with it. In reference to certificate application CERD 24001087, make a motion that we approve it as presented. The fact that we're using as a litmus test the old Aiken design guidelines, specifically sections 2.1.6 of the site design, and the information found on beginning on page 41. So with that, we applaud the owner for what they're doing, and I asked you for motion to approve.
I second that motion.
Can we, can I ask you if you would amend the motion to denote that instead of a brick fence, we're gonna have a stucco fence?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I make a motion, or add to the end that it's stucco rather than pure brick.
Was that the only change, McDonald?
Yeah.
Okay. And does the second agree with the amendment?
I second that, but let's go a little bit discussion from a masonry
Okay,
contractor.
we're ready for discussion.
All right. I totally support it, ma'am. But if you would have said masonry, you still would have got away with it. Sometimes we get caught up in the details because technically you could argue that it's a brick structure or brick column or piling, but you put stucco on it, it's still brick. So I'm supporting the motion. I second the motion happily, ma'am.
Okay.
You're quite welcome.
Any other discussion from the board? Okay. Hearing none, we've got a motion and a second. I'd ask for all those in favor, raise your right hand. And I see you unanimous, so we don't need to call for the nays. The motion is passed. Thank you very much. Rebecca, would you please move us along to agenda item C?
Item C under new business, application number TAX030. Applicant Mike Hosang requests preliminary certification of the special tax assessment for historic properties for renovations at 780 Whiskey Road, tax map parcel 121-13-13-001. The preliminary certification approval for work conducted at the rear of the building.
Rebecca, hold on one moment. If we can just place on the record that Ms. Morgan's recusing herself.
Oh, I
from this
forgot.
application.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you're.
You have to
I just
leave
wanted
the
to-
room. Yep. Thank you, Barbara.
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. Okay. And so Barbara has filled out the correct documentation, and that's on file, right?
Yes, and that will be added as an exhibit.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Thank you, and I apologize for the interruption. Thank you very much. Yep. It takes a village to keep me on track, so thank you very much.
The applicant seeks preliminary certification approval for work conducted at the rear of the building in 2023. The applicants removed a rear sun porch, which had previously been enclosed at an unknown date, and constructed a new clubroom in its place. The applicant has explained that the previously existing enclosed sun porch was not original to the house. An approved certificate of appropriateness was issued for this work. This property is a contributing property in the Historic Overlay District, specifically Historic District 1 on the Aiken Historic Register. The Aiken Historic Resource Survey Card lists the construction date as circa 1927, and the Aiken County Assessor's Office lists the construction date as 1927. The applicant has provided a spreadsheet to indicate that the cost of the project meets the minimum expenditure requirements. To grant preliminary certification, the board is tasked with consideration of Condition 2 in Code Section 38-8C1. This section states, the proposed rehabilitation work should receive approval from the Design Review Board prior to commencement. Work completed prior to the DRB issuance of preliminary certification will be considered by the Design Review Board if completed within the previous 12 months and previously approved via Certificate of Appropriateness. Any work completed within the 12 months preceding the board's consideration of preliminary certification, but not having received a Certificate of Appropriateness, may be considered at the discretion of the board. The board is reminded that in order to be counted towards the minimum expenditures for rehabilitation, work must relate to one or more of the following: improvements located on or within the designated buildings, additions to the historic buildings which make possible an efficient contemporary use while preserving those portions and features of the buildings that are significant to its historic, architectural, and cultural values. Costs associated with the new structures or the addition of the rentable habitable floor space not attributed to the efficient contemporary use of space within an existing historic structure shall not be included in the calculation of eligible cost. Architectural and engineering services attributable to the design of the improvements, and cost necessary to maintain the historic character or integrity of the designated buildings. Additionally, at this public hearing, the board may establish a preservation zone to identify critical architectural and historically significant elements that should be preserved. This preservation zone may include interior rooms and elements, as well as an exterior elements that would not otherwise be subject to design review.
My mic turned off. That was, okay, thank you, Rebecca. Okay, we'll ask if there's an applicant that would like to speak.
Good evening, I'm Ryan Reynolds, live at West Cliff Drive here in Aiken. We're here tonight to apply for the special tax exempt that the city has, sorry, you can hear me better, that the city offers. This was originally on the back of the Green Boundary Club. This was an original patio that was walled in and enclosed at some point in time, and was inaccessible for ADA, life safety, egress, that type thing. On top of it, the looks wasn't very favorable compared to the rest of the house. So the club decided to try to upgrade some of the amenities, and we felt that this was a good place to do it. If you see in your photos there, it's really dingy, and just trying to upgrade the membership by improving the facilities. So we entered into a contract to renovate, completely tear it down. We got the appropriateness review from the DRB prior and the necessary permits, and now we have what you see here, which is a new club room, bar room. It also features a patio with ADA access, also an upgraded fire alarm system with new egress, and you'll see the interior there. We tried to match some of the older mahogany colors with the original library, hardwood flooring, and decorations and those type things to try to keep with the feel of that the building. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Yeah, so thank you for that overview. And thank you for talking about the changes that have already been made. So we are not voting on the changes that have already been made, because that was under a previous COA that was granted. And we're here now just talking about, does the property qualify for and meet our requirements for the special tax assessment? And so, you know, one of the considerations that we're looking at is has this work benefited the historical property in such a way that it's helped to preserve the property and its use and all? And based on your discussion about the safety requirements, the functional requirements, it sounds like you have met that criteria in terms of helping preserve the longevity of the building and preserving this, this historical property that we have here and we want to protect in the city. So thank you for that work. I'm not sure if we need to point out anything else, but I will open it up to the board if you have questions of Mr. Reynolds. Yes, Mr. McDonald.
Yeah, I was gonna just add to your statement that with our walkthrough this afternoon, we were able to determine that the house has been maintained, the remainder of the house maintained in pretty much its original form. There was I think, removal of a temporary bar that blocked the passageway to this new room, which actually improves that little passageway. But in essence, the interior has been pretty much as it was when it was a home.
That's correct.
And that's really the purpose of our walkthrough, to make sure that the rest of the property has been maintained and preserved in its original form. So actually,
Do you want to talk about no exclusion zones or found or preservation zones?
yeah, I don't think that we
did not
identified a preservation zone that sometimes if there's something in particular that needs to be
Right.
preserved, we note it, but the whole house is,
No, we
is
we
original.
we don't intend on doing any
Yeah,
major changes to the original house, other than hopefully to carry our momentum into increasing the longevity of it through leaks and better plumbing and things like that.
yeah. And that addition was sort of a travesty if you walked around
I mean, we're happy it was in the back.
Yeah, it detracted from the
Correct.
structure. She can probably scroll backwards to see, there we go. That's what y'all replaced, so, and the interior was not much better. In fact, it was a little bit dangerous to get down the steps, yeah.
Well, we did this with the motivation of not necessarily to obtain a tax credit, but to increase the facilities and enhance the enjoyment and membership of the club. So to be able to get a tax break is just sort of icing on the cake for us.
Yeah. You shouldn't be penalized for improving a property.
Well, that's what we're hoping.
Right.
That's what we're hoping.
Yes.
Thank you. I'd like to commend the green boundary on the work that they've done there. I mean, I've seen it from the inside in the winter after it was first opened, after it was done, and I thought the clubroom was a great addition. I thought it was done very, very well. It actually complements the rest of the property interiorly, on the interior, very, very well. But it also, what you've done on the outside, I saw it for the first time today, and I really think it's outstanding. I mean, it not only preserves the historic character of the property, enhances it, certainly much better than the previous structure that was there. And so I think you've got a lot of bang for your buck on a lot of different areas, and I'd like you to commend you very much for what you've done.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Like it's been there forever?
It really does, especially from the outside. It doesn't look like, I mean, it looks like it's been there forever. I mean, and you've matched the brick. I think you've done a great job.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a comment?
Please.
All right, Mr. Reynolds, I think you all did a wonderful job. And as sometimes we talk about the Secretary of Interior, National Park Service requirements or thresholds, you did good. I could tell where the brick was tie-in, different motor joints, but that's what you want.
That's right.
Stained grade trim in the inside. I looked at your hardwood floors; they match from the previous portion of the building, even with the aging of it. You guys knocked it out the park.
Hey, well, you can credit the workers. Help lead it.
Yes, sir. You did good.
Okay, great. Any more comments for Mr. Reynolds? Okay, I will ask you to sit down and we'll see if anyone else in the audience would like to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Okay, seeing none, I will open it to the board to make a motion. Okay, McDonald. Did you want to do it? Go ahead.
Ahmad said, oh, you look like you were ready to do it, Ahmad.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize.
McDonald is ready. Let him go. I'll promise to second it.
I said I'd call on somebody if I didn't hear anything.
I know, you saw me ducking
My
under.
microphone is on, I guess I'll do it. Mr. Chairman and Design Review Board, with respect to the preliminary approval of the special tax assessment, number TAX 030 for the addition to the Green Boundary Club, the rear addition. I move that we do approve this as eligible for the special tax assessment program, based on the fact that the majority of the houses, as it was originally, has not been affected in a negative way, but in fact has been improved positively with this addition. And the addition obviously was approved at a previous certificate of application. So I move that we approve this as eligible for the tax.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, John.
I just wanted to clarify in checking with council, since I was unable to make the site visit because of a previous commitment, I'm going to abstain from the vote. If I was able to vote, though, I would vote yes. So.
That leaves a quorum, though, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay.
Four.
Okay, great. Well, then I will call for a show of hands. Everyone in favor of approving the motion? Okay, and we have a quorum and a positive vote, and with no one abstaining or voting against. So the motion has passed. Thank you. Yeah, can we go, someone grab Barbara, please? I don't know where she went. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, when Barbara comes back in, we will move to application D, okay? That was so much fun, right? It's easy to get distracted. No, we have one more item on the agenda we're gonna ask staff to address.
Item D under new business, application number TAX 027 has been postponed by staff pending the completion of a site visit.
Okay, all right. So that looks like that's the end of tonight's agenda. Any comments on meetings or anything? We're gonna be scheduling a special meeting.
Yes, I've asked the board to let me know at their earliest convenience what their availability might be over the next month. As you know, I think 616 Park Avenue has come before this board several times, and they've been working to make some changes based on the comments and suggestions they've received from you all, but they were unable to make this meeting by the application deadline, so they've just asked that they be given a special meeting.
Okay, please.
Are they ready to do it? Are they ready to go now, or do they need more time?
No, they have submitted their drawings to me. They just didn't do it in time to make the postings for this meeting.
They have been submitted?
Yes.
Okay, and so are they looking for a special time frame?
They were just hoping not to have to wait until the July meeting.
And you need how long to post?
Well, we can call a special meeting up to 48 hours before. I'd prefer 7 days so I can get the memos together and maybe send a legal ad out.
Right, the legal ad doesn't have to be
yes.
out for so many days or anything.
Could we decide on maybe amongst us right now a time frame to make it easier so that Rebecca's not juggling, a lot
think
of
so.
different
Yeah. So we want to say,
dates?
to give you time to get ready, we don't want to do anything in the next 7 days, right? But maybe somewhere between 7 and 20 days to look at our calendars and see where we're open between those time frames.
So maybe like the week of the 17th. I'm just throwing that out.
And don't forget July 4th weekend's coming up too, so we don't want to do it the Friday before July 4th.
Right. And is there a certain day of the week that the room's available, Rebecca?
Yes, I will say I've I've heard back from some board members who have told me some of their availability, and it looked like next week would work better. We have some members that are going to be out the week of the 17th to the 21st. I also think we're going to have some legal counsel that will not be available, and board members who won't be available the following week. So I know that doesn't give us a lot of time to work with.
It's really the week of the 10th that we're looking at.
That would be best
Okay.
if possible. But I know that's, if you all could just give me whenever you're available, and I'll try and find.
Thursday, what date?
The 13th?
That's the 13th.
Yeah, I could do it Thursday as well. I leave on the 14th, so, but I could do it Thursday. And I could do it the 12th. I could do it, Thursday's the best.
Okay.
I
I've
can't
got conflicts.
Okay.
be out 2 weeks, but I don't want to hold the process up.
Okay.
So I'm available after 5:30 on that day.
Okay.
The 13th. Mhm.
Yes, I've spoken with Faith, and she gave me other dates that she would be unavailable, so I think she'll be
I could
able
do
to
it on the
attend.
12th or the 13th, anytime that
Okay.
week, but not later than the 13th that week.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I may be, I've got a sliding scale. I've got to have some surgery, and it's supposed to be that following Monday, but they said there's a possibility they may move it up earlier, so we'll just see.
What
Okay.
what time?
We need it, what we do, we need 4 for a quorum, right? So if we could get 5, we'd be safe.
That's correct, 4 as a minimum. So you said you wouldn't be available until after 5:30. Would you say 6 o'clock?
5:30 is fine. I'm just-
5:30 is
yep.
fine? Okay.
Is that okay with everybody?
Okay.
Okay.
So what I might do is tomorrow morning, I might send out an email to you all, just verifying the schedule for that date. And if anyone has any conflicts or concerns, then please let me know as early as possible.
So you're speaking of the 13th?
Yes.
I'm in Virginia. I will not be available.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Okay, do we have a quorum?
Yeah, but
Oh, it's too bad you wanted to be there for that. Then we're down to the June 24th, and there's people that can't do that also, right? I could do the week of the 24th.
The 24th, I got a hearing with council. I'm not going to be available. I think council meeting is on.
24th, how about the week of the 24th?
I am
That's what I
out.
meant, the week of the 24th.
I am out of town that week.
I think that you're going to have a problem. I think the best thing to do is just leave it in normal work session, because, there's all kinds of sliding scales. And people have things that pop up too, so there's always that opportunity
Yeah, and it's the summer right now,
Yeah.
whatever, this is the height of the summer. So are they looking for a work session, or is they looking for a final?
Vote.
They're hoping to have a final vote.
A final vote, okay.
Not much sooner anyway.
Exactly.
Now,
Yeah, that's a good
next
point.
week, you're concerned about the quorum next week?
Yeah.
Was it?
All
Yes.
week, every
All-
week.
Every week.
Yes.
Okay, well, how many people here can go on the 13th? That's
I think
it?
I can.
Yeah, I'm okay on the 13th.
Okay, that's 3.
That's not enough.
So Ahmad's out,
Faith-
you're out? You're not out?
Might be.
I think I'm gonna have some stuff
Surgery.
going on, some,
See, and
So it depends on whether Faith can make it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so
Okay.
it might be we just put it back to the regular meeting.
I think we're gonna have to wait, because I think that we've had enough problems with this. We don't wanna go in with half a board either.
exactly, I think,
That's
I
my,
think we're gonna have to wait.
I think that's a very good
I
point,
think that's
Ben.
Yeah.
I think it's fair for the applicant to have a full board to listen.
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And
Can
tell,
I-
tell them we're sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry. Do we know what we're supposed to do with Faith's application? Do we, because I told you I've been to this, I could give you something that said I've been there. Do you need, how many more people do you need?
I need a minimum of 3 more people to attend the site visit, but it doesn't have to be at the same time. So I've got some dates from individuals, so I can reach out to you all, and whenever y'all are available.
Okay.
We
I'm
can
available
schedule.
most of, yeah, anytime. I already
It's a
told you.
nice tour,
It is,
do it.
I've been to the house,
especially if you
it's
saw
nice.
it before.
Yeah, I saw it before.
Well, and I told you, I went on a garden tour and feel like
Yeah.
if that'll qualify, put me in, and
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if somebody else can go at a certain time, just let me know, and then you all don't have to do it.
You need
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other
But then it has to be on the agenda, right? I mean, we have to have the site visit, and then it'll be on next month's.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Any other business before we adjourn?
No, sir.
That's all.
Okay. Well, then I'm gonna call the meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Ben.